I love this episode. I love this episode to death. Hello everyone, Mega Man NG here, and this week we're going to be talking about another Tales of the TMNT episode review. Now, bear in mind, before I explain my thoughts on this episode, I do want to say that we may not be getting any new episodes for a while. The DVD, which will have the TMNT 2012-1987 crossover, is coming in September, and yes, I will be buying it, and I will be reviewing it, so when that moment comes, you will see it. But I will make sure a spoiler warning's in effect for those that don't want to be spoiled. Though knowing you by this point, you guys are probably going to see it one way or another. Anyway, let us get started with this week's topic, or rather this week's episode, Lone Rat and Cubs. And for some reason, Lone Rat and Cubs is like a fitting nod to the Lone Wolf and Cubs series. You know, the manga involving a lone samurai pushing his baby in a stroller? Yeah, that. Anyway, let's get started. I'll be providing a summary of this episode as well as what I liked, because let's be honest, I truthfully loved this episode. Let's begin. Many years before the start of the series, Splinter is having a bit of story time with his four turtle sons. In this tale, Splinter tells of not only how he came about, as well as the turtles, but also of how he trekked to find a safe haven while dodging attacks by the Krang, who are after him and the turtles for some unknown reason. Think of this as an origin story, and it's a really very good one at that. For starters, it's good to see Splinter again. I'm still mourning over his death in the events of Requiem, but seeing Splinter again, even if it's just for like a flashback, really tugs my heartstrings, and it gives me a warm, gushy feeling. It really is. But what makes this better is that this one-shot episode is pretty much the origin story for both Master Splinter, or in this case Hamato Yoshi, and the TMNT. Yep, this is an origin story pretty much. We had origin stories before in this series, but not that ones that cover the entire episode. I mean, the entire episode serves as one big origin story and how they came about, which, if you can tell by the ending, was pretty obvious. Not to mention, one of the best things about it is the writing. The writing is really amazing. To begin with, Kevin Eastman wrote this episode. That's right. One of the creators of the TMNT comics, alongside Peter Laird, wrote this episode, and the writing shows. The writing is spectacular, and Kevin Eastman delivered a great job. He really did, and we get to see Splinter do what he does best, kick butt and take names, which I will say is that this episode is awesome because of Splinter. Splinter, even though when he started as human and then became a rat, was just awesome. He was not only a badass mentor, but he's also a badass parent when having to fight against the Krang to protect his four turtle siblings, or rather, his four turtle children. Yeah, this Splinter follows the 2003 Splinter route where, in that one, he treats the turtles like their own children. Yeah, in a way, I'm reminded of both 87 and 2003, and that's pretty impressive. Because if you saw some of the good action scenes, you know that Splinter would do anything to protect his kids. And when he saw his kids hurt, like in the flashback with Raphael's shell like chipped, yeah, he gets really scary when he's angry. He really is very awesome. And seeing him using all the different weapons such as the sword, the sai, etc., I believe these little things, they're just omens. They're just signs that you know the turtles would end up using these weapons down the line. And it's done very well. I really liked it. Some of the scenes involving Splinter and the turtles are just outright cute. And I will say, the baby turtles are just the cutest things ever. I mean it. If you see the episode and you see them, they're just so innocent yet so cute. Yet they're so intrigued by their dad kicking butt and everything. And seeing them pretty much gave them what they needed to be what they are today. Not to mention, like in every other incarnation, he names the turtles based off four Renaissance painters. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. It's obvious, isn't it? And we pretty much can tell this is how the TMNT was formed, even at a young age. The episode is emotional, and sometimes it's action-packed because there's plenty of action, plenty of intensity. The turtles are just the cutest thing ever. Splinter being the highlight, not to mention the narrator of this episode, really delivered. Their strong writing, everything about this is so good. I can honestly say it's one of my favorite episodes of the season. And that is a fact. This episode gets a solid 10 out of 10 from me. because it delivered on so many ways. Not to mention, having one of the co-creators of the TMNT write this episode is an added plus, and I really loved it. I only hope that the rest of this anthology season can deliver on it, because so far they have. They already have in the beginning with the first 4 episodes with Kavakis. Then we have the 1 hour long When Worlds Collide with the return of Mona Lisa and villains like Lord Dreg. Then you have the TMNT Usagi crossover with even Stan Sakai getting involved. That makes it grand. And also we have this episode. And I can honestly say this episode is without a doubt one of the best. And I love it dearly. If you have not seen this episode, what are you waiting for? Watch it now. I mean it. You will not be disappointed. Anyway, that is it for this review of Tales of the TMNT. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to hit the like button. It does mean a lot to me. Now, before I end the video, I do want to say that, yeah, you guys know that my laptop's been on the fritz, and I'm trying to do whatever I can to remedy the situation, but what I will say is this, that for my Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix playthrough, I'm going to be streaming it on Twitch, and then I'm going to be making bits and chunks and posting them on YouTube. That way, instead of one big stream session, you get like smaller bits, so that way it's easier, and it's going to be like this until at least I get my computer repaired. I know the cause of it. I will be explaining it in my mid-month update, so if you notice the drop in quality, please understand that I'm just one guy who can do so much. I don't have a big fan base. I don't have a big audience. I don't even have a big subscriber count. Even though I'm at 30,500 subscribers, that doesn't mean a thing compared to my views. I don't think it really matters, does it? At least I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm grateful to all of you for taking the time to watch it. Really does mean something. And it would really help me a lot if you guys checked out my Patreon, because all it takes is $1. $1 would mean a difference. That, and it's not mandatory. It's optional. You're not obligated to do it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not going to force it on you. So yeah, next time you see these Tales of the TMNT reviews, it'll be after when I get the DVD, and I'll be watching the 3 new episodes of the crossover. So look forward to that. Anyway, that is it. Thanks for watching. This is Mega Man NJ signing off. Peace out. Booyakasha!